to AARP Connecticut in your community. Hi, I'm Elaine Warner. I am your host for today's program. I am on staff with the AARP Connecticut nonprofit statewide office where we do advocacy and community outreach. We come to you in your local community with AARP's purpose in mind, and that is to empower you to choose how you live as you age. I am joined today by Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan is AARP Connecticut's lead volunteer for financial security. And Tim's going to share some information with you. We hope to empower you today with how you can live comfortably through your retirement and not outlive your money. But first, some what I'd like to call some eye-opening facts. More than a quarter of non-retired people have no retirement savings. More than 50 million American workers have no access to a retirement savings plan through their employers, which is a place most of us do gain our retirement savings. And in an ARP survey that was taken in the fall of 2021, voters expressed widespread support for legislation to make it easier to save for retirement. Previous ARP research found that Americans are 15 times more likely to save for retirement when they can do so through payroll at work. So bottom line, America's retirement savings crisis is causing too many families to fall short. Today, we'll be talking about a new program in Connecticut that will help you take control of your financial future. And again, I'd like to introduce my guest, Tim Ryan. Tim, so happy to have you as ARP Connecticut's lead volunteer for financial security. So thank you and welcome to the program.
Hi, Elaine.
Hey, so a little background on Tim. Tim is currently retired, having previously spent your career, Tim, as a finance director for more than 2 decades. Tim brings both his career skills and his educational background to the subject of our program today with an MBA, and he is also a retired CPA. Post-retirement, Tim pursued multiple volunteer activities, happily, including ARP Connecticut advocacy, helping to promote issues important to Connecticut's 50-plus-year-old residents. But Tim, you and I both know the subject of today's program, taking control of your financial future, does not only apply to 50-plus, but maybe even more importantly, to younger generations. So whatever age you are, we hope that you will stay with us. Tim's family has lived in our state for the past 25 years. And again, we welcome Tim again to our program, ARP's lead volunteer for financial security. So Tim, let's get the ball rolling. I just talked about your career and business background, but tell our viewer, how did you become a volunteer on today's subject? What brought you to this subject about being prepared to have a comfortable retirement financially?
Yes, I was lucky enough to work for a large company that provided not only an opportunity to buy their stock at a discount and provided a 401k match, but they also provided a defined benefit pension plan, which is very rare these days.
Yep.
Most companies are providing no benefit at all for retirement. So that means that there's going to be a lot of people that find themselves in financial trouble when they get older. So I felt very strongly that it was important to remind the workers that really the onus is on them to save for their future.
Well, unfortunately, Tim, you come to the subject with having a background of the ability to save for your financial future. So with that expertise and experience, you can speak to that to our viewer. And why ARP Connecticut interest in this particular topic of saving for your financial future?
Right. So why is an association of retired people interested in a program that impacts only working people? And I think that there's 2 things you have to keep in mind, and you mentioned the first one. First of all, our membership starts at age 50, and most of our research shows that people don't really get serious about saving for retirement until they reach about 50. So a large portion of our membership is working and very interested in this topic and saving for retirement. The second thing is ARP is concerned about their future members, people in their 30s and 40s as well. So, all the future ARP members, this program's for you.
Absolutely. And addressing 2 of the things you just mentioned, Tim, a lot of us are living to be older, being in your 90s is not such a big deal anymore. I mean, it's many of us are living there. I think they're saying some of the younger generations now can definitely think about living to be at least 100. And you're reminding me when you're talking about younger people, I wish when I was 20 and 21, starting out in a full-time job, somebody said to me, Elaine, start now. Get that match with your company. Think about your financial future as opposed to playing catch up, when you're 50 years or older. On that note, Tim, if you can, I know you've heard some stories with your work with ARP from people about the successes of retirement financing and the not so successes. Any stories come to mind to share?
Yeah, I mean, on the cautionary tale side, we've had members who worked all their life and got to be in their mid 60s and had virtually no retirement plan at work. They might have jumped from job to job and never been at a place long enough to qualify for their pension plan or whatever. But and these people are having to work well into their 60s or 70s to make ends meet. So that's on the cautionary side. On the good side, we've had members too that reach their 50s, realize they've saved enough to last them the rest of their life. And it is a tremendously freeing experience for those people. I mean, it opens up a whole new world of, do I want to work here? Where do I want to work? Do I want to work at all? Do I want to volunteer? Speaking personally, I never walked in a gym until after I retired, and now I go to the gym every day, and my health has probably never been better, actually. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that come with good financial security.
And Tim, you're an example also, a great inspiration, first of all, staying healthy and going to a gym in your later life. But I think also you had an opportunity, given what you were offered at work and taking advantage of it, to retire early yourself, correct?
Right. Yep.
Great. We're going to get into the specifics of this new program that I mentioned in the opening of the show. And again, I want to say, if you're younger folks, don't run away. You're seeing ARP, our members are 50 plus, but we've got some important messages for you. So some initial facts here, Tim. How many Connecticut employees do not have access to a retirement savings plan or pension at work?
Yeah, so it's roughly 600,000. In fact, that's the low estimate. The latest estimate I heard is actually larger than that. And it's almost 50% of the private sector employees. So this is huge. There's such a huge group of people that have no coverage at work for a pension.
Well, and continuing on that, how many small business employees, I think you hit upon that, but to reiterate, in Connecticut, do not have access to a retirement savings plan or pension at work? That's small
Yes.
business employees.
Right. So that's small. For the definition they gave is like 100 employees or fewer. That seems like a pretty big company, actually, to me. But
Yeah,
under 100, it's about 335,000 employees don't have coverage. So this is very much aimed at helping small business employees and employers, tell you the truth.
absolutely. I'm just going to reiterate those two numbers there. So roughly more than 500,000 people, about 600,000 people, work for an employer that does not offer a retirement plan in Connecticut. And there are, relating to small business employees, there's about 335,000 small business employees who do not have access to a retirement plan. So now let's get into this plan. It's called My Connecticut Savings. We're going to put up the website, Tim, as well, for people to access, www.myconnecticutSavings.com. But Tim, many of our viewers are probably thinking, well, I've paid into Social Security all my life. That's going to be there for me for retirement. That's all I need to rely on. What do you say to them about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have a lot of misunderstanding in this area. I mean, Social Security was never meant to be your sole retirement security. I mean, we always in the financial planning business would refer to it as a three-legged stool. And the first leg of the stool was Social Security, but the other two legs were meant to be a pension plan that you had at work. And the third one was your own personal savings and equity in your home, etc. And all three of those legs are very important, but one of those legs mainly a retirement plan at work, has really been yanked out. So there's a lot of onus back on the employee to save for their own retirement. And this My CT Savings Plan is meant to fill that gap, really.
And, on that note, I've also read, Tim, and ARP's provided this information in the outreach that we do, that the average Social Security benefit for a 65 plus year old Connecticut family is only about $21,000 a year. But Connecticut families on average spend around $26,000 a year just on food, utilities, and healthcare alone. So right there, to your point, that Social Security is cannot be the only form of savings for retirement. That's a $5,000 gap, right?
Right. And that's just the basics. Then you got housing costs and everything else.
Exactly. So I hope people have sort of like jumped up and are listening very intently now, particularly with those statistics. So talk about more specifically, Tim, if you would please, what is My Connecticut Savings?
Yeah, well, it's a retirement savings vehicle for the private sector employees only who work for a business that has 5 or more employees that does not provide a retirement savings plan for their employees currently. So if an employer already has a plan, they can ignore this completely. They don't have to worry about it at all. Right.
And we'll get into also, Tim, what employers are responsible for or not. There's a lot of simplicity to this, we like to say, right? There's ease to it. We like to give people that option when saving. So if you can get a little more into how does this, maybe some of the specifics that you'd like to share, as much as you'd like to share as to how the plan, how does it work?
Sure. So it enables workers to save their own money easily, safely through a regular payroll deduction. And it doesn't burden the employers with administrative or managerial costs or responsibilities. They don't have to worry about ERISA rules or anything else. It's all taken care of for them. So employers that work for a qualifying or participating employer will automatically be enrolled into a Roth IRA, and it has a default investment rate of 3%. So we're hoping people will stay in and maybe even save more than 3% in the future.
And I mentioned the word simplicity before, Tim. Employees will always be in control of their accounts, correct?
Right. So if they move to a different employer, they take the account with them. The account is at an administrator's. I think it's Mellon Bank is part of this deal. They're the ones that have the funds. It's invested in the stock market and an appropriate mutual fund, and there'll be various choices within that. So there's no reason for people not to try to save more for their future.
And so again, employees will be in control of their account. And I also want to use the word voluntary, right? The accounts are voluntary for employees. Can you just speak to that as well?
Yeah, they can opt out if they want to opt out or need to opt out at any time. Hopefully they're going to stay in and they'll save, but it is a Roth IRA, which means if something comes up in the future, they do have access to get their contributions back tax-free. So there should be no reason why you shouldn't try to save more using this vehicle.
Okay, so just emphasizing yet again, employees will always be in control of their accounts and that the accounts are voluntary for employees. So, Tim, ARP's been at this for a while, trying to support legislation to get this happening in Connecticut. What has ARP's role been to get this program up and running? And I've heard there was a pilot initially, and just some of the facts surrounding that.
Right. So this is probably one of the better kept secrets in the state, really. This law passed several years ago, actually. And there's been a board set up, CRSA board set up, and it's under the control of the controller's office currently that is in charge of rolling this program out. ARP has been supportive of this from the beginning, and we've had education campaigns on it. We're not the first state to launch. There's 3 other states that already have plans up and going, and there's several states that are coming behind us with their own plans. So this isn't something out of the blue, and people should know it's coming and coming this year, actually.
And you mentioned, Tim, CRSA, Connecticut Retirement Savings Authority. Do I have that right?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
so.
I know we tend to use a lot of acronyms at ARP, so just making ourselves clear to our viewer here. So let's talk about qualifications, Tim, for who exactly qualifies for My Connecticut Savings.
Right. So any individual who's 19 years of age or older, if they're employed in Connecticut and they have earned income, and if they've been employed for a qualifying employer for 120 days or more, so this includes part-time and full-time employees as well, but it doesn't include, contracted 1099 type people.
Great. So again, just to reiterate, 19 years of age or older, employed in Connecticut, employed by a qualifying employer for 120 days or more. That's roughly 4 months. So let's say we've got some employers watching as well, Tim. Just some of the basics. What are the responsibilities for an employer with My Connecticut Savings?
Right. So it's designed to be simple and easy for employers with no administrative or managerial costs and responsibilities. An employer who will only be responsible for distributing the informational materials that are being provided by the program administrator, enrolling the employees, setting up the payroll deduction process, and then remitting the employee contributions to the plan provider on a timely basis. And that's it. So employers are not charged an annual administrative fee. They're not considered a plan manager or fiduciary. They're not subject to the ERISA rules. They're not responsible for the same administrative requirements as other employer-sponsored plans, and they're not required to be to make an employer contribution to the plan. In fact, they're not able to make a contribution to the plan, so it's of no cost to them.
Thank you for that information again. And you did mention that employers will not be subject to ERISA. For those of you that may not know what that is ERISA, the Employment Retiree Income Security Act of 1974 was a federal law that set minimum standards for most voluntarily established retirement and health plans to private industry to provide protection for individuals in these plans. And once again, as Tim noted, that employers will not be subject to ERISA. Again, the operative words here that you've mentioned, Tim, for My Connecticut Savings: simple and easy for employers, same for employees getting access to the plan. And again, if you've just tuned in, our subject today is Take Control of Your Financial Future. I'm Elaine Warner, on staff with the ARP Connecticut Nonprofit Office, where we do advocacy and community outreach. My guest today is Tim Ryan. He is ARP Connecticut's lead volunteer for financial security, bringing his own personal experience to having saved well for retirement. You're our example here, Tim, and a career background that applies to helping people understand this program. So, Tim, let's have a talk directly to some of the people that might be watching. You may have covered it before, but let's get back to it. What would be a direct message that you might have on behalf of ARP's support of this program and your own experience as a volunteer to business owners? Let's say I'm a business owner watching.
Well, to the business owners, I'd say that this is a conservative program that everyone should be able to support. It's been designed to be a no cost to the employer, no cost to the state program. That is a benefit that they're offering to their employees to save for their own future. And so it should actually help the employers from their standpoint. They are providing a benefit to their employees for no cost.
Well, and I also, Tim, like to think it makes it makes it more competitive in the business world. It's kind of a perk that if somebody's looking for a job, and we speak to the people that might be job seekers out there also, that now you don't necessarily need to avoid a business that doesn't offer an opportunity to save for your future, correct?
Yeah, that's true. We did in our discussions actually run into small business employers that said that they've had employees poached from them from larger companies, and it wasn't often the starting salary or anything. It was the fact that they larger company was offering a better benefit package. So this could be part of a benefit package that employers can offer that doesn't cost them anything.
Yeah, more competitive. And of course, as employees, we all have to look at the package. A great job, great employer, great boss, but great benefits are critical. And again, if I'm an employee watching right now, again, we've covered some of this, but just your direct message to me, say I'm an employee, about this program, My Connecticut Savings.
Right. So the first thing you got to remind, especially if they're in their 20s and 30s and retirement isn't in their dictionary at all, it's just to remind them that this is a Roth IRA account. You'll be able to access your contributions if you need to, tax-free. And that everybody should be putting aside at least 10% of their income in like an emergency fund, because you have to know that you're not going to be working for the same employer for the next 50 years. You're going to have changes to your career along the ways, and then you may find yourself unemployed for a while. You should be building up some sort of an emergency fund to get you through those times. So why not use this method? It's taken right out of your paycheck. You never see it. And you'll accumulate wealth without even knowing it after a while.
And as an employee, Tim, if I wanted to increase that 3% to, 5% or a higher amount, I do have the ability to do that as well.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then, I said during the program, I wish somebody had said, Elaine, when you're 21 years old, make sure you start saving from the get-go. Unfortunately, I didn't get that message somehow, but have now in working for ARP and hearing this message, have been able to make up for some of that. But again, for our younger viewer that's watching, what is your direct message to them?
Yeah, it's treat it like an emergency fund. Don't think of it as a retirement fund. This is a way of saving, taken out of your paycheck, and you can take it from employer to employer. You don't have to worry about it's not a transfer or anything. The account stays with you no matter who your employer is. So it's simple, and it's a simple way to save for the future. So why not do it?
Simplicity, ease, protecting your future, all important statements there. Thank you, Tim. And how is, ARP is going to be, hopefully our viewers going to be hearing from us in various ways about this program. Again, I keep mentioning the website, myconnecticutSavings.com, which we'll put up on the screen. But how is ARP Connecticut being creative to get the word out by our own volunteers such as yourself?
Well, right, yeah. In the past, we had several vehicles. I mean, we've given presentations to chambers of commerce, college classes, and other civic organizations like Rotaries, and as well as the senior centers, because they all have sons and daughters and granddaughters and grandsons that would be interested in this program. But we also did events out in the public, like at several breweries in the past, where we would have information boards set up to tell people about the program, and it was a fun events like that. Unfortunately, with COVID on the horizon, we don't know how much live action we can take to get the word out, but we're obviously events like this one that we're doing now is a way we can do it remotely. And if we have an opportunity to get back to live events, we may be out there in the public trying to push the word to support this program and stay in the program. Yeah.
Right. And Tim, depending on when our viewer is watching, they could be seeing us in person. Or we may be doing, we're often using the word lately, hybrid. We might be doing things continually virtually and in person, and maybe even pounding the pavement, visiting various businesses when in person is safe, talking to business owners directly and getting the word out with flyers and things like that. You mentioned also that there are a couple of other states, I think it's Oregon, Illinois, and California. Am I right? That have started this program already. So, of course, we want to learn from them, and hopefully future will learn from us. Not that you would know this or not, is there any lessons learned or not as yet? I know you've delved into this with our associate State Director John Erlinghauser.
Yeah, I mean, there's programs that have been a success, and we were more interested in what the volunteers there were doing. So the volunteers did do programs like Walking Main Street, where they just literally took collateral literature along and dropped it off to small businesses in neighborhoods where they were, and that was one way of getting the word out. We may, do our traditional letter writing campaigns to editorials to papers, etc., and obviously use our website and social media, however we can, and to get the word out. Yeah, it's exciting time. It's going out this year, so I can't wait to see it launch and be a big success.
And I share that with you again, Elaine Werner. I'm on staff with the ARP Connecticut office. My guest today, Tim Ryan, is the ARP Connecticut lead volunteer for financial security, hopefully imparting information so you won't run out of your money and you will be able to retire safely and securely. And Tim, coming directly from me, I'm the program specialist for volunteer engagement with ARP Connecticut. I so appreciate personally your commitment to the issue and all the volunteering you do with ARP Connecticut. So thanks for being my guest today and being on our program. So great to have you and your passion for this subject.
Thanks, Elaine.
And my pleasure. Thank you again. And I want to thank you as a viewer for watching today, ARP Connecticut in your community. Also, if you're an ARP member, you're one of more than 500,000 members of ARP right here in the state of Connecticut. Don't forget the website. It is myconnecticutSavings.com. ARP will be putting out information and doing outreach to make you aware of the program. If you'd like to volunteer on this subject or many others that we have with ARP Connecticut, please contact me. All my information will be on the screen. So Tim, myself, on behalf of the ARP staff and all our volunteers, we want to thank you for watching today, and we look forward again to visiting you in your local community. Thanks for watching.